and it looks like we already have some great attendance happening, so that's awesome. This is through the Research and Innovation Department here at Lambton College, and specifically the Bioindustrial Process Research Center, so the BPRC TAC, and what I'll get, there we go, perfect. And what the BPRC TAC does is a funded program through government federal funding, and we conduct applied research projects as well as technical services to industry and specialized training services. So between those three areas, within the TAC, we kind of provide support in all the areas of applied research, and essentially work with small and medium enterprises. And through that, we have students work with us, as well as our technical staff, to kind of help meet that mandate. So our topic today is bridging the gap between job-ready talent and employers. We have three speakers lined up for you today. So we have Mustafa, our Business Development Director from Mitacs. We also have Margaret, who is a professor here at Lambton College for the School of Trades and Technology, as well as a senior scientist. And we have Dr. Sodad, who's a research lab director and special projects with A&L Biologicals Inc. in London. So I will pass it off to Mustafa to start.
So good morning. I'm really delighted to be here to deliver this presentation and see how Mitacs, in collaboration with Lambton College, will be able to support students and industries and driving innovation forward. But I would like first to get confirmation that you do see my presentation clearly.
Yes, we do.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So without further ado, what I will be covering in this presentation is, first of all, I would like to introduce Mitacs, give you a bit of background about this organization that's been in operation for more than 20 years. And then it's important for me to highlight the collaboration that we have with Lambton College that started a year ago, and then talk about the funding programs that we offer that can support students, industry partners, through the research centers at Lambton College in driving innovation and research forward. And then, talk about how to set up a project. If you're a student, you know what to do. If you are an industry partner, it will give you an idea about the obligations and the process for that. So I think this is a very important piece to close basically the whole cycle of engagement. So Mitacs is a national, independent, and not-for-profit organization. And really our mandate is to work with industries, different sectors, different sizes, whether it is small, medium, or big enterprises, to work with them and work to support their innovation and research and development journey. Whether it is something to fix like a business challenge they're facing, or whether it is creating a new solution, it's within our mandate and scope of support. And the way we do this is actually is very unique, because we engage post-secondary institutions, be it colleges or universities across Canada, coast to coast, where we bring in talents supervised by their professors to support industry partners in addressing these challenges or reaching the innovation aspiration that they want to be at. And so the scope of our support in terms of project scope, really it can be from developing a completely new product or working on an existing product to optimize it, enhancing an operational improvement initiative, working on optimizing a process, or even going back to the drawing board where new technology is to be created to disrupt existing ones. So the sky is the limit. The scope is really very wide. But at the end of the day, I guess it's also important to highlight that we don't only focus on supporting projects that create something new or improve something. We do support the next steps, which is important for the research and investment of such work to be realized by the industry partner, by the companies, which is commercialization. So we do support the next step, go-to-market strategy, how to develop a strategy for going to market, how to implement it with all the details of that, whether it is business related, technically related, or any aspect in relation to succeeding in penetrating new markets or introducing the product to the market. So over the last 20 years, more than 14,000 research projects were supported through more than 6,000 industry partners or companies, whether SME, as I said, or big organizations. Of course, this would not been a success without the engagement of post-secondary institutions, more than 117 post-secondary institutions, whether it is university or colleges. The value of such investment, these projects are in excess of $800 million. Of course, how do we do so? It is through the business development team, and I am one of them. We have more than 80 business development team members across Canada, literally from the East Coast to the West Coast, engaged and embedded at universities and colleges to support such ideas and such engagement between the students of these academic institutions and the companies, the industry partners, utilizing, of course, the research centers that was, that these academic institutions have. And for the last 3.5 months, I've been working very closely with Lambton College as a business development director to support them in their initiatives in terms of working with industry partners in the areas of expertise where the centers, as highlighted in this slide, the research centers that have been developed over the last 10 years with millions of dollars of investment can offer the infrastructure, equipment, and talents at Lambton College in initiating project and supporting industry partners. As you can see, the collaboration of even between the different research centers like the Lambton Water Center and the Manufacturing Innovation Center plus the energy, you can see that complex projects can be catered for through Lambton College Research Center by the collaboration of the different multidisciplinary research talents and equipment and infrastructure that is available at Lambton College. That's why probably it was an important step towards establishing this formal collaboration between Mitacs and Lambton College to support industries, but ultimately also to engage students in a way that will enhance their learning experience by engaging them in real life scenarios, applying the programs and topics they've been taught at the college in real life scenarios and address these challenges, which would give them a big advantage when they want to integrate with the industry requirement for skills and find a new job or continue to go up the ladder in their careers. Today's focus, though, is on the Bioindustrial Process Research Center. And at this center, we can see that there are 3 different types of collaboration with industry partners. One of them is to help industry partners in the product development space, where different techniques can be applied utilizing different equipment that is available, that has been invested for the last 10 years or so, to apply, for example, fermentation or distillation or extraction procedures to develop a new product or deliver a research that will help the company in identifying areas where they can develop themselves further. An example can be really to transform waste into something useful, like fertilizers or packaging material, or even work on the process ways to create energy-rich material that can be used later on for something meaningful that would also make commercial sense. At the end of the day as well, the Bioindustrial Process Research Center offer services for fee, and this way they utilize the equipment to serve the partners, the industry partners, and the students can work on these kind of projects where the three, it's a benefit for the three different parties, the student, industry partner, as well as the research center, because of the utilization of infrastructure that cannot be really provided or invested by the industry partner, because it's a heavy investment. In addition to that, there are other scopes that this slide cannot really accommodate. It's the long number of projects and different types of deliverables over the last years have been achieved by the Bioindustrial Process Research Center at Lambton College. Of course, we can talk about that in more detail should you have a project later on and you want to discuss how we can help. The most important part from Mitacs perspective is that no matter what the scope of your project is, no matter how many industrial partners the project would serve, and the type of collaboration between other academic institutions in addition to Lambton College, Mitacs is very flexible in bringing in more than one party, multiple students, multiple research centers, multiple academic institutions, and multiple industry partners to serve the innovation journey for them. And so really the sky is the limit. There is no limit to defining a scope of the project, engaging the right capabilities and infrastructure, or using equipment, the right equipment from even other labs to support the industry partner in their initiatives. How do we do so? We have multiple programs. The most relevant one probably to colleges is BSI, which is known as Business Strategy Internship. And this is really mainly about engaging students to address a challenge by an industry partner. It can be something related to conducting a market research, marketing strategy to support the industry in penetrating new markets, expanding their market share in Canada, for example, or developing completely new business model, designing a new structure, designing a new maintenance management system, and so on. So it's really about getting the right number of students with the right skills and background to work with the industry partner team to address the current operational challenges or product development challenges. The other model is Accelerate. Accelerate is really about research collaboration, where a research project that requires more in-depth application of scientific approach and methodologies to conduct a deep research. It normally concludes with intellectual property. It's all about creating something new. So an example can be just developing advanced lithium-ion zinc battery, which is something is not available, for example, something extremely new. Or the second bullet, which is developing advanced waste plastic to ethylene recycling process. So it is really something new that requires scientific research, desk research of prior work, and getting engaged into creating something new. It comes with novelty. And so between the BSI and the Accelerate, you cover anything any business would like to do. So from that perspective, Mitacs is really capable of supporting such initiatives with the financial support that we offer. But at the same time, we have realized that collaborating with other funding agencies would add to the support industry partners and student would need. And so we do collaborate with other strategic partners that offer grants in the research side, which is the Accelerate. One of them is Ontario, the Voucher Innovation Productivity, VIP, Ontario Centre of Innovation, where the same project can apply for this type of grant, and the same project can apply also for Accelerate grant. Another topic, another collaboration, which is the NSERC ARD grant. And in this case, for example, Accelerate from Mitacs and the NSERC ARD can be utilized both together simultaneously to obtain grants from NSERC and funding from Mitacs. The value of this collaboration is basically that the industry partner when they contribute in cash, Mitacs recognize that cash contribution and match it in a way that basically add the interns, the students, as many as the budget can allow to work on that project without any further investment by the industry partner. So this is, again, a research collaboration that shows how the different funding programs can work to support students in resolving issues or supporting research project for industry partners. How does it work is basically, first of all, we want to find a project, define the scope of the project, identify a student or multiple students to work on it, supervised, of course, by faculty or admin from the research center to make sure that they have all the support needed to deliver the results for the industry partner. And so in our case, we can have an industry partner. Mitacs funding can support Lambton College student working with the Bioindustrial Process Research Center in a minimum number of 4 months of engagement. And so the company would be paying, a typical budget is $50,000, would be paying $7,500 of that value plus GST. We will match it at Mitacs. We will identify a student with a supervisor from Lambton College to work with the Bioindustrial Process Research Center and deliver the results needed. So the main requirement here is 1 student, for example, and a minimum of 4 months. However, I want you to consider that this 4-month block is like a building block or one module. So if the same student need to work with the industry partner for a multiple of these units, like 8 months or 12 months, 3 periods or 3 blocks of this model per student is allowed and permitted. But sometimes we have projects that require more than 1 student at the same time, or even to serve more than 1 partner. And so you can see the minimum, the 1 module, which is the 4-month period, 4 to 6 months, is the minimum. However, the maximum can be hundreds of these kind of units that can accumulate to hundreds of thousands of dollars in terms of project budget. And so really the sky is the limit. We can serve multiple institutions, engaging many students, different research centers, different academic institutions. No matter what the complexity is, we have these building blocks to support such a project. It's really about the project, how we customize the application to give you the grant. How the funding cycle works is that, let's assume we have now a project. We know that there are 1 or 2 students with a supervisor from Lambton College and the technicians, let's say, from the bioprocess industry research center. We invoice the partner for their contribution, we match it, and then we transfer all the cash to Lambton College. Lambton College engages the student directly and pay them stipend, a minimum of $10,000 for this 1 block, as I mentioned. And this way, what we do, we are running an efficient cash flow where the students have a direct contractual engagement with the college rather than the industry partner. This way, we take off the admin burden from the industry partner, and we take off the financial collection of contribution from Lambton College. We collect directly from the industry partner. And so with time, stipend would be paid to the students, and they will work with the supervisor and the team at the industry partner to deliver the project. And this is a tremendous experience for students to get to know more real life scenarios, apply the research, apply the methodologies or program ideas, themes that they've been studying in real life scenarios. And it works a lot as a bridge for full-time employment by the industry partner, employing research students that have been working in these type of projects. So I do encourage students and industry partners to think about the byproduct, which is basically full-time employment when the student works for that company in such a research project for a number of months, where the culture assessment can be done, the skill upgrade can be done, real good assessment, thorough analysis of the student capacity and capability to really be a full-time employee can be achieved throughout these research projects. So in a nutshell, we work with Lambton College to identify students supervised by the different faculty or research center staff and management to work with industry partners that can be any type of sectors, even non-profit organizations, municipalities and hospitals as well, to work to address innovation challenges or research requirements by applying funding through the Accelerate, which is research collaboration, or BSI, which is internship, or even collaborating with other funding agencies. If we require to work with other private labs or even other institutions, that's also covered in the funding, and we do have the flexibility in supporting that. So if you have a project as a student, if you have a project, if you have a question you need to ask, please reach out to me. We can work together on defining the scope of your project. We can understand the details and conclude which type of funding program is most effective and suitable that fits the requirements for your project. And then we can work together on building that application with the industry partner and the prof or the supervisors from the research center, and then guide you through the development phase, steps 1, A to Z, and apply for it to land the funding for the project for engagement and delivery later on. At this point, I would like to thank our funders, the federal government and the provincial governments across Canada, who supported us for the last 20 years, and without them, we wouldn't be able to deliver our mandate. This is basically my email address, mustafa.kader@lambtoncollege.ca. I am also you can find me on LinkedIn as well. I'm happy to take any questions at the end and engage with you in any discussion to answer your questions one-on-one later on if you wish. With this, I end my presentation. Thank you very much for your listening, and I hand it over back to you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. We're going to hold questions till the end, and Margaret is our next presenter.
Thank you, Brittany. So the angle that I will address is the skill sets and the integration that we have with our various industrial partners. And I'm going to highlight some of the programs that are most applicable to the BPRC. And those would be the chemistry cluster programs and our wastewater. And then I'm going to touch on 2 of our flagship programs because they do apply here as well. Within the chemistry cluster, we have the chemical technology diploma, but there is also a chemistry technician, a 2-year program, an exit point of the 3-year technology program. And then we have graduate programs in cannabis and natural health products, in biomaterials and chemical laboratory analysis. So these graduate programs are students who already have a degree. They're predominantly international students. That degree is in something related. These are extraordinarily strong students. They come to Lambton to specialize, and all of these programs, the CTech and the C-Lab, the CNHP and the BCAS, they're all relatively new. The water and wastewater is more established, and I wanted to include it because especially in biological processes, you're dealing with water and wastewater and its quality. And it is a more established program that has deep ties to industry, and it's a good example of how we can integrate those programs to the employers. And then instrumentation and chemical production, they are necessary employees for any plant operation. They're traditionally applied to petrochemical industry, but they have the same skills, boiler operation, movement of fluids, pumps, etc., that would be necessary in a bio-based industry. And what I want to highlight in these programs is the skills that might not be well known that these students will have, and the ties within that program to industry. As I said, we have 2 advanced diplomas. I think I called them graduate, but they're, I think that was a change in terminology. Both the biomaterials and chemical lab analysis have a capstone semester, as well as the technology degree, the chemistry technology, an entire semester that's built on a research problem. The students will assist in selecting what one they're interested in. We have we run it in the same manner that an employer or a person would approach the government, an expression of interest, a research proposal, and then they produce their work, a plan for that work first, the work, and then a report. In some cases, as the program becomes more developed, they'll start from a report from a previous student group. So very much modeled on the existing infrastructure for gaining funding for a research project. So all of these groups are doing a capstone semester, an entire semester, so 4 months that are focused on this same research project. The highlighted skills, because of the funding that we've received and the equipment that we've been able to buy over the years with that funding, these students are exposed to an extraordinary level of analytical equipment and sophisticated equipment. They have a very strong biotech background. They're exposed to good lab practices in QA and QC, along with statistics that are necessary for tracking that. They have good environmental management background. And those natural health products, the reinforced plastic, the petrochemical and polymer industry, those are our pillar technologies. So they relate to our local industry, to the focus of our municipality in developing new industries, and our own centers of excellence. We've done a really good job of integrating those things into our programs, using those as our strengths in research to feed back into the programs that we develop. And this program has a 1 4-month co-op and that capstone semester that I mentioned. Just a quick list here. I won't read them off, but you can see that we have our grads placed at a number of industries, both large and small, and the invested employers are those that are on our PAC committee. That includes our next speaker, Soledad from Dow, and they've had a large part in forming that program and its content. We don't yet have a graduating class. We ran the 2-year program for 2 or 3 years prior to the pandemic. There was a missing year because of the pandemic. Our first set of grads will be available in, I think, 24. So it's very much a program in development. We haven't had our students out on a co-op term yet. And so for that kind of experience or sense of that work readiness, I will present with the water and wastewater program. This one is far more developed, aged, and it is unique also in that it is a partnership with Northern College. Long before the days of hybrid or online delivery, they were using a system where half of the courses are delivered at Lambton and half of them are delivered at Northern College. There are a set of students at each campus, and the courses that are developed at the alternate campus are offered synchronously through technology, and that makes it quite an interesting program, innovative. We're really good at innovating our programs. The goal with this program is to graduate Class 1 operators. They, intermediate to that, get an operator in training certificate, and the 3-4 month work terms allow them to apply and receive a Class 1 operator. They get a lot of plant operation background based on some of the programming we have for our chemical production group. They also get GIS, hydrogeology, and like I said, these are some of the things that may not be part of, intuitively understood to be part of the program by an employer. Again, I won't read these off, but a list of placements within these industry. And the coordinator for that program fields, she said, 6 calls just in this winter term alone for people desperate for Class 1 operators for Ontario Clean Water Association run sites. It is, that's an industry that's facing a lot of retirements and are looking at a workforce depletion, desperate for new people. So it's a really great place to get into, or job area to get into for students. The other 2 things I want to just very quickly highlight are ISET and CPET. First is ISET, Instrumentation and Electrical. These 2 programs, as I mentioned before, graduate people that will run plants, whether that's petrochemical, as it was historically, or bio-based. They are a necessary part of running that, running a plant. The ISET people, PLCs, programmable logic controllers, CAD drawings, automation. There's a really beautifully developed robot series of courses. They do project management. They have the highest level of math literacy in the college. And they do a capstone course, so not an entire semester, but they do a single course. And that one is unique in that all of the students are given the same goal, but they each take a different route to get there. So for example, one semester, the theme was robotic hydroponics, not hydroponics, but plant growth, feeding, weeding, harvesting. And so each group takes a different aspect of it or takes a different approach to setting that up. And they have up to 3-4 month co-ops. And so there's industry familiarity there, placement in industry that allows the student to make connections to an employer. And then CPET, they are the process control. They're the ones that monitor the process and react when there's issues, and manage the maintenance of everything. The goal of that program, or one of the goals, is that they will finish with a TSSA 4th class operator STEAM ticket. They also have a capstone course project, and they have 2 8-month co-ops. The employers prefer the longer co-ops because the training investment is much larger, and huge transfer of a co-op student into a full-time employment. As Mustafa mentioned, placements, co-op placements or research placements allow a company to really get a good sense of how well that student fits their culture. The link that we're able to offer these students uniquely through the research is the synergy between the centers of excellence. And I stole this graphic, Mustafa, as you were presenting. I had it just typed out. The various centers that we have enrich the student experience, both from the student being exposed to those equipment and projects, research projects, but also because we are able to draw from the researchers on those projects and use them as instructors. So we have people actively researching and associated with a certain company that will come in and teach a course to those students. I'm one of the few full-time professors that has a significant research involvement, but more often it's a full-time researcher who's coming in to teach just 1 or 2 courses on contract. And the students really enjoy that. They really see the connection, and they enjoy that. They see the value of the connection with a certain company. Within research itself, we have graduates from all of those programs that I mentioned working for us full-time, and I forgot the water program is there too. So we've hired these people permanently, graduates from those programs, but we also have 232 students working for us, not just from Lambton, from all kinds of different educators working for us as of last year. And I'm guessing that number is even higher. It's gone up every year. And we have 243 industrial partners. So those people are all learning about the skills of our students. They have direct contact with students, and our students are our best sales tool. And finally, we provide employment for our students simply through reputation. Both myself and the water wastewater coordinator are fielding calls regularly looking for grads. So the employers out there know that if they have a need for a quality graduate, they can call us, and we are an excellent source. I have a call employer right now looking for a graduate that I'm trying to find somebody for. It's turning out to be a bit of a challenge because everybody's employed, and we have that missing year of graduates. We at Lambton are at an advantage in that we've always had enormous support from local industry, both in developing our programs, supporting our programs by hiring our grads, and with financial contributions. Our traditional industry is the petroleum and plastics group. We've had great support from the municipality. They are very active in building industry here. And a long time ago, they saw the cyclical nature, sorry, stumbling on that word, of the petrochemical industry, and have been working for decades to diversify our local industry. We then have leveraged that into the bio-based petrochemical replacements like biodiesel and ethanol. We are declaring ourselves to be a hydrogen hub as an alternative energy source. We're moving into agriculture, both greenhouse and traditional agriculture, because the greenhouses can use the CO2 emissions that we can collect from various processes within petrochemical and bio-industrial. And there's a huge plastics research endeavor, both in recycling of traditional plastics and developing bio-based and biodegradable plastics. So with that, I will hand the platform over to the next speaker.
Thank you, Margaret. Soledad, we'll go to you.
Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for inviting me to represent the industry and I guess the employers. We have been, we have many stories to tell about successfully employing students, and I hope I can share some of that with you today. Just a little bit of background about A&L Canada Laboratories. We are located in London, Ontario. We are the leading agricultural lab in Canada. We are currently 150 permanent employees. We have over 54,000 square feet of laboratory space. And most important to us, our business is rooted in science. We aim to provide the best information and technology available for improving and fomenting sustainable development of agriculture. We have different units, business units in ANL. We have the agricultural unit where we provide analytical services for soil, plant tissues, fertilizers, water, but also we provide the industry with different services, production recommendation, remote sensing, plant monitoring program, and precision agriculture capabilities. We have then the biological units where I work. This is our research and development unit. We are focusing on understanding soil health, working on carbon sequestration, and also working on the development of biological products that can be used in the industry. We have a food and pharma component that is focused mainly on cannabis and hemp, and includes all the analytical services that the cannabis industry needs, but also disease diagnostics, genetic analysis, production recommendation, plant monitoring program, etc. And finally, we have an environmental unit that provide all the chemical analysis, organic, inorganic, etc., for all kind of environmental samples. So all these units of ANL, we work, all of them hire students over the year. We have on average 20 to 25 students per year. And we work with different institutions, including Lambton College, Western University, Fanshawe College, Canada College, etc. And we have excellent relationship with all these institutions. And we take advantage of some funding opportunities, some of them explained by Mustafa, including government funds, tax credits, and funds provided by different colleges and programs. So why we hire students? So we benefit from our engagement with the students in multiple ways. We have access to a talented pool of employees. Students support our daily activities. And we also value the opportunity we have to contribute to form young professionals. Students contribute to a motivating and dynamic work environment. And this can be a double-edged sword when you are working in the field with 21 years old. You tend to forget you are not 21 years anymore, but I guarantee you remember next day when you wake up. And also, hiring students contribute to our permanent workforce. Many of the students we hired become permanent employees once they complete their studies. So, as I mentioned before, I work on ANL Biological, that is the research and development area of ANL. In this unit, we hire summer students sometimes, 2 to 4, depending on the needs of the program that we have for the summer, and co-op students. We hire co-ops for 16 months, and this is part of what we were talking before of the need of training. So we think 12 to 16 months is ideal to provide in-depth training of all the techniques and methodologies we use and give the students a good experience and also us as a company receive the maximum benefits of them working for us. We hire usually 3 students every year, and so during 2022, we have working with us 7 students. This unit has 9 permanent employees, so you can see the ratio. We really value our students. We have been actively working with Lambton College since 2020, working directly with Rob Nichols on different projects. And Lambton has provided us with funds for students, access to technology to overcome a specific challenge, and co-funding opportunity for projects. And I will go a little bit deep on one example so you can see the type of work we do with our students here. So as I mentioned, in our ANL Biologicals, we were working on understanding soil health, but also we're working on developing biostimulants and biopesticides. When we work with biostimulants, we have developed a series of bioassays that help us to see the efficacy of our stimulants. So here you can see pictures of to your left cucumber, in the middle tomato, and to your right lettuce. And you can see how it looks controlled and when we apply different doses of a product. However, when we work with biopesticide, or try to develop biopesticide, we confront different challenges. We usually start our development process looking at our microbe collection and see if our, in this case, bacteria can control a pathogen. So this picture is just to illustrate how we go about that. So we have, in a plate, we put the pathogen, that is the fungus, on the on the right side of each image, and then the bacteria. And we see if the bacteria is able to stop the fungal growth or kill the fungus. When we have our candidates, we need to move to an implanter model to see if the bacteria now is, or the formulation that we have, is able to protect the plant from this pathogen. And that, for us, is a challenge depending on the pathogen. So let's say we want to focus on Fusarium. So we didn't have a good model system implanted to develop biopesticides and Fusarium. So we partnered with Lambton College to solve this problem. So the idea was to develop a plant model system for Fusarium infection. And the challenge was we have to develop a reproducible model of infection. It has to be fast and economical to use, and it has to be a model where we could control the level of infection. So in this partnership, Lambton College provided funds for 4 students for 4 months each to work on this project. It helped organize the interviews and handle all the paperwork, as Mustafa was explaining, so make this a very easy process for us, and also provide some funds to work on this project. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of what we accomplished during this project. So this is just to show, it's a, I guess, long story short, but the students with our researchers have to identify the best plant to work with. So look at different susceptible varieties of tomatoes and select the one that respond the best. Then they had to learn how to infect those plants. So how to prepare, how to grow the fungus, how to prepare the inoculum, so it will be reproducible each time, that we will basically kill the plants, but control that situation so we can have extended kill, as in this second picture, or we can have a more moderated infection. So they work for several months on setting up this model and make it reproducible. So every time we want to use it, it works. So once we have this model, then we needed to use it as a tool to screen our products. So we started, with the help of the students, start working on this model. And this is just an example where we have on the top tomatoes that are not infected, then infected tomatoes, and then infected tomatoes, but with a treatment. And you can see how we protect our crop. So this is an excellent tool we have now in-house and will allow us to screen our bioproducts and move forward to the next step that involve field work. So these have helped us to speed up the process of development from these biopesticides for Fusarium. So the results, we have, as I mentioned, now a reliable Fusarium wilt model system. One of our students hired for this project is now a permanent employee of A&L, and we are working based on our successful experience. We are working now in new projects with Lambton College and engaging new students, and we're hoping to continue this collaboration for many years. So that's what I have to share today with you in terms of a real-life example of how we work with our students and our successful partnership with Lambton.
I love that last slide.
Thanks.
Thank you so much to all of our speakers. If there's any questions, we do have 10 minutes remaining. You can either type it in the chat or just raise your hand. far not seeing any questions. Do any of our speakers have questions for each other? Oh, how do students share their resumes for all these opportunities?
So I can speak from our point of view. When we are looking for students, we usually share a posting with the college of the universities through their centers. So co-op programs or the centers of excellence. And in this case, Lambton College help gathering those resumes, then pass it to us. We go through the screening and then go back to Lambton saying, well, these are preferred candidates, and set up interviews and everything. So we normally do it through postings.
So Lambton College as well for research students. We do postings as well as the co-op office is a big portion of it. Lots of our students are co-op, so great opportunity to do your co-op term if you have one of those coming up, or postings as well as summer student positions or grad student postings. And then as far as Mitacs goes, lots of times we utilize our students that we are already using for research or have a particular project that we are looking for a full-time or part-time student to partake in, and attach them to that Mitacs grant. So they are still a student employee of Lambton College. So I hope that answers that question. So next, you mentioned about opportunities for graduate students, but I would like to ask if there's any opportunities for postdoctoral researchers as well.
So go ahead, Mustafa, sorry.
Yeah, I think this is a very important question, because if Lambton College was a university, I think this question will not be asked. But since it is a college, there is a big question about the level of the students who can be engaged in research projects. And from my experience, as I said, over the last 3.5 months, if you are a postdoctoral student or already you are at that level, you can lead the research. And so I really encourage you, Paraya, to send me an email of your resume and tell me what are the interests that you have, and I connect you with a research center that is more relevant to your experience, and maybe you can engage with the coordinator or other lead researchers. Maybe there is already a project that you can work on, or maybe there is a future project that we can add you to the pool of researchers where we can bring you into the discussion when we have a scope that is very relevant to your capabilities and interests. So again, whoever is on the call and whoever has connection with others who you think might be interested, please don't shy from sharing these details with them. To be 100% honest, and Lambton College offers research projects for students in so many different levels, whether they are undergraduate, graduate, master's degree, or even at the doctorate level. We at Mitacs support all levels, working with other industrial institutions, academic institutions. The sky is the limit. It's all about matching the project with the student capability. And in this case, for example, we have A&L laboratories, which they are doing great job here in London. They have so many projects as well. You never know what kind of scope of project that they will bring in all of a sudden through Mitacs or other funding with Lambton and external students. We can all work together in a project. Thank you.
And I just want to add to that, that we are currently looking to hire a postdoc to work with us. So we have a posting out. You can find it in LinkedIn. So please share and apply.
Perfect. And that answers one of the other questions of where can you find these postings. LinkedIn is a common one, or if you're with Lambton, our employment services, or as well as our career and co-op office, look for the postings there. Lots of our partners share them with us there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I would
think-
add to you know, network with anyone that you meet in organization or presentations like this with your instructors. I routinely am happy to take resumes and forward them to anyone I know might be looking. You never know where you might find an opportunity. So get out there, make connections, make friends, and whether it's LinkedIn, in person, through the classroom, that's how you find out about opportunities and how opportunities will open for you.
Excellent. Thank you. We do have 4 minutes left if there's any other questions.
Brittany, there's one question from Janvi about summer positions for BCAS.
Yes.
I have collected some resumes from BCAS and submitted them to the research team. We have already filled our this summer positions. That's done back in February, so it's something you have to be on top of. And I believe that your co-op in BCAS, Janvi, would happen in next winter. So you'll get some instructions as you come in for the fall about how you go through the employment process and the websites and how you make an application and so on.
There's also the opportunity in the fall and winter terms to work part-time as well. So just less than 15 hours a week. We can do it as low as 10 just to give you some experience in the labs and with applied research. And that can kind of get your foot in the door as well for co-ops or summer positions.
And Brittany, you said it was employment services, right? That's,
yeah.
If they Google that, Lambton College Employment Services, they'll see those postings.
Yes.
And yes, it would be on campus in general, the majority, not always.
Yes, we do have during the semester, yes, and the summer term, both are on campus unless we do have, if you're from other schools such as Western or even Mohawk, we do have community partners that we partner there with as well. So that can mean that you work in London or work in Hamilton, but that's only if you want to. We typically take people that already live in those cities. We try to keep the commute as little as possible for students. Perfect. Thank you for sharing that contact information, Martha. And yes, feel free to reach out if you have any questions for our speakers today or want to send them your resume and application. That's a possibility as well. Perfect. So if there's no further questions, I'll thank our speakers here for their time and excellent presentations. I think we got a lot of great engagement and a lot of different aspects of employing and kind of the next steps. So that's excellent. Thank you so much. And we look forward to connecting with you again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.